Welcome back. Today we have our second to last season long futures picks. Today we're going with the long balls, the long odds, the one that's going to make you the most money. Lockety locks. If you enjoy this style of content, make sure to subscribe. Only 20% of people that watch this channel are subscribed currently, so make sure you drop a subscribe. With that being said, all these odds are also being taken on BetMGM, so you'll see the graphic down below, starting with Jameis Stain.
Let's go.
Jordan Love, total regular season passing touchdown leader, 1,800. Talk us through it.
Did you know the last 2 years, Jordan Love's the only quarterback to have a passing touchdown percentage above 5.5 in both of the seasons?
Really?
He passes touchdowns on average at the highest rate the last 2 years.
Are you worried about Jacobs?
Oh. I mean, he was there last year, and Jordan Love was still at that efficiency, and he was hurt. And they now have Matthew Golden. I just think also in 2023, he had the second most. So, like, people are going to look at this and be like, that's terrible. Jordan Love, terrible. Like, he was the second leader 2 years ago. And last year, I feel like he threw up 25 when, like, some other guys, like, 25 is, like, the most they could do. I believe in Jordan Love. I believe in this Packers offense now that they probably have, I don't want to say the best wide receiver Jordan Love's ever had, but, like, I'm getting more in Matthew Golden where, like, no one else on that team can catch it or stay healthy. If he could just be consistent in what they wanted out of a first rounder, I like this offense to run smooth, and I like Jordan Love to do his thing if they can stay healthy.
I would agree. I like Tucker Kraft to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, too, that he can be a big weapon for this team.
I like Kraft to stay healthy.
If he stays healthy.
That's my lock of
Plus
the year.
1,000.
Plus 1,000 to stay healthy. Nick, thoughts?
I don't mind it. I think Love definitely has upside for sure. I guess my biggest concern is just the receiving group. Like, I like Golden a lot, too, but he's a rookie, obviously, and Watson's probably out for a while. I don't know what's going on with Jaden Reed. He was in the walking boot. Floyd was like, or hopefully he's ready for week one. It's like kind of scary, but
He loves Dobbs.
he does.
He does.
But Dobbs will never have more than like 7 touchdowns in a year. Yeah, I guess my biggest concern would be like when they're on the goal line, I just feel like they never pass the ball. So it kind of caps his ceiling, but
Him being close, though, before I still feel like with not much stability. Not that there's a lot of signs of stability heading into this season, but
I would be curious what their pass rate was inside the 10 2 years ago before Jacobs versus last year, which is probably super skewed towards him. But they are a big play offense, I think, a lot, so it makes sense.
And remember, all of these odds are going to be plus 1,000 or higher. Again, these are all long shots. So you're getting 1,800 on that. You feel pretty good about the odds, at least,
great
for
about
the upside. Nick, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I made a Twitter thread about my long shots that I've taken, and on that, I actually had Josh Jacobs as rushing touchdown leader, 20-1. We won't go down that route. I'll give you my longest odds, 10,000 plus 10,000. So 100-1 was Tony Pollard, rushing yards leader. Tony Pollard, I think he's just been good the last few years, right? Like over 1,000 yards the last 3 years. Underrated running back. I think the Titans' offensive line is vastly improved, and a lot of this has to do with whether or not Cam Ward is good, right? If he can keep them in games, then the game script should be much more in favor of rushing the ball a lot. And Tony Pollard's like kind of been transitioned into this like early down between the tackles guy because that's the role that they need him to play in this offense. And Tajay Spears like more of a third down guy. But Pollard, if you remember him in Dallas, like he was what Tajay Spears is now to them. He was really fucking explosive. He was ripping off big plays all the time for Dallas. Now that he's like, clearly past the injury bug for him. And on the flip side, Tajay Spears is dealing with a high ankle sprain, right? He suffered that.
he's been hurt since he got in.
Right, and I don't know how you can be Tennessee and be like, our game plan is going to be revolving around Tajay having a big role because you can't trust him to stay healthy. And in games last year where Tajay played, Tony Pollard's snap count was between like 65 and 68%. When Tajay was out, it jumped up to around 85, 90. You're talking about like Kyron territory. So, it's a lot of things have to happen, of course. Like Tajay actually has to miss significant time, but high ankle is one that notoriously kind of lingers into the year. Their offensive line has to take that step up. Cam Ward has to be good as well, be able to run a functional offense. 1,000 or plus 10,000. I'll lay some money on that and hope that Tony Pollard can come back and become that like explosive player that he was.
No, I mean I like that a lot too. I've been pretty big on Tony Pollard coming in, especially with Tajay not being healthy. So I don't have any.
Has there ever, to circle back real quick to the Jacobs, has there ever been a quarterback and running back that's led in touchdowns on the same team? was like
rushing and
like
Gibbs and
impossible.
Goff must have been close last year.
Goff
Goff had,
37,
like,
Gibbs with 20.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if like Bucky could have done it with Baker last year. If Bucky was the workhorse and took Rashad White's goal line carries, he probably could have been close.
Yeah, and Baker could have scored.
If Brown was the guy all year, maybe he could have done it too with Burrow.
Lamar and Derek had to have been close.
They were 41.
Yeah.
Derek led.
Literally happens almost happened 5 times just last year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right.
Maybe it's Jacob's love to parlay that.
My furthest out there pick I have is going to be the first one I go with, and that's the Rams to straight up win the Super Bowl.
Fire.
I love it at 20-1. I feel like this is just kind of going for a bold take early, but the Rams, I feel like looking at their roster, seeing how they're just built top to bottom, replacing Kupp with Devontae, I think this is the year to where we could see Stafford end on top. One more Super Bowl, McVay's still there.
If
he wins, it's over.
Go
and he goes
out.
out.
Do
And he goes
not
out,
play
guaranteed Hall of
another
Famer. I feel like this is the year they have a very young defense, but I love it because I feel like they're going to be able to fly around on the ball. Adding Cam Curl last year was an underrated move, but I think he's an awesome safety to have on the back end. Kobe Turner down low as well. Poona Ford in there in the middle. I feel like this team is constructed to be a very young, fast defense with a explosive offense on the other side. As long as Stafford's healthy, I think the sky's the limit for this team.
Odds on him staying healthy.
Yeah.
Gotta be plus 50 grand.
I don't know. I feel like you got to take those
think
shots, though.
You just had to ignore the injury factor. Any team, if Mahomes got hurt, obviously Stafford's got very high
Stafford is
concerns.
a broken back right now.
But the vision's there.
Yeah, I think if he is healthy, this team is going to be one to where.
I think this is the team they've done it before where, if they truly think this is Stafford's last year, at the deadline, if they're, a piece away, they'll make it another aggressive move. I don't know who would be on the block, but, I don't know, say Khalil Mack.
And they have the picks.
Yeah.
They have the picks, so.
Oh, that's true. That's so true.
I literally.
They have the extra
You want to know the
first.
saddest part about that trade? I can't start a Madden franchise with Atlanta because we don't have first round picks.
Damn.
So I always be starting with the Rams or Cleveland. So I have 2 firsts for next year.
But they had like you said at the deadline, if they're we're going all in and the Falcons stink, this is a lot of value. Boom, trade it away, and you got a real good piece there. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think they're a really good spot here, and again, I love the odds for them to make it. So. We'll see. Stain, let's head to your second one pairing with that. But before we go any further, make sure you're taking these picks on BetMGM using code DRAFT. If you have not had your fantasy drafts already, you'll get the draft guide with $1,500 up to in bonus bets when you use code DRAFT on BetMGM. All you got to do is deposit $10 and you will get the draft guide for free. Make sure to lock that in and tail all these picks on Pick'It. You can tail every single one of us taking these picks, taking these lines, whatever disgusting parlays I'm sure you guys also have in. Are going to be on Pick'It. That's free in the description below. Matt Stafford to throw for 40-plus regular season passing touchdowns, 1,100.
I feel like throughout the whole summer, I've just been in on this offense, which is weird because since they won the Super Bowl, I've been very anti-Stafford and McVay. The wheels are going to fall off.
No, yeah.
And now 3 years later, I'm now I'm in on the Rams. Which
I waited till the wheels fell off, and now I'm in. Yeah.
So
seems like a Stain occurrence.
them making the playoffs back-to-back years, last 2 years, I would have put a lot of money that they didn't at the beginning of the season. Now I'm the opposite, but I'm just on the Rams train. Gus on Super Bowl. I've been on Devontae to possibly lead the league in touchdowns. I've been on Puka to be receiving leader. I'm just going to follow up with Stafford on the 40-plus. He's done it before. I think this is the best offensive duo he's had in wide receivers. And thrown this out a couple times. I still don't know if it matters, but this is his first time with McVay where there's been no OC change. I feel like that's a nice, seamless offseason for him. If he stays healthy, everything's there.
Yeah.
And he's been there.
I ain't complaining.
Kyron. Has there ever been a quarterback and a running back that's led the league in touchdowns?
All right, Nicholas, what's your next one?
I'm actually going to stay on the Rams train. It was one that you mentioned. I have Puka leading the NFL in receiving yards at 15-1, so plus 1,500. I think one kind of underrated thing with Puka, at least, is that if Stafford – this is a bet that I think can actually still cash if Stafford ends up missing 3 or 4 games. Mm-hmm. Because I think if – one, Puka's now the motion guy in that offense. He's taking the Cooper Kupp role where a lot of Cooper Kupp's targets were targets that any average quarterback can make the throw for. They have Jimmy G as their backup. So if Stafford ends up, getting hurt, missing 3 to 4 games, and Jimmy G has to fill in, I think Adams takes more of a dip on, outside the hash marks targets, deep down the field targets. Like those are, more difficult for a quarterback to connect with. So I think Puka playing a lot of the slot, playing a lot of the motion, getting like really easy free separations doesn't take as quite as a hit. Obviously, like the ceiling of that offense comes down a little bit if Jimmy G has to play a while. But I think if Stafford stays healthy, Puka stays healthy, he has the upside to have, a borderline Cooper Kupp 2021 season. So really high on Puka. Obviously, all comes down to health there. But the big concern is Stafford. And like I said, I do think if he ends up missing 3 to 5 games, like Jimmy G can be useful enough to keep Puka like at least in the running until Stafford gets back and then really gear up towards the end of the season.
He's also got like the rookie record, so it's in his bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean his target share last year was like 38%. Yeah, it's fucking insane.
It's absolutely nuts. The guy I'm going to go to next is going to be Ashton Jeanty, the rookie. I think I'm going to take it I'm going to take him at 1,500 for total rushing yard leader. It's more of a long shot compared to the normal Bijan that I feel like everybody's going with. The reason being is I think he could have a very similar year to 2022 Josh Jacobs, where he just gets a ton of work. I mean, Josh Jacobs had like 340 carries that year and had 1,600 yards, and I think we could see something similar. The team was bad. Doesn't matter. We're feeding him the rock. And I think that's kind of a motto that Pete Carroll's had in the past, where, again, Marshawn Lynch during that time period was averaging 350 touches per year. I think Ashton Jeanty could see something very similar, or even an uptick in that with just the talent profile. Again, it's really going to be a health thing in the long run, but he's insanely talented, going into an offense that I believe is going to want to establish the run. And this team doesn't have to be great for him to hit it, as we've seen in the past. I think if they win 6-7 games at the most, he still can hit this.
I think just betting on volumes like always are good.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed volume in that offense.
Is there any, cause with Chip Kelly's the OC, I mean, I don't know if it's even worth referencing like what he did in the league 8 years ago, but
I mean, 8 years. I mean, Ohio State last year, they were a run team. They were a run first team. So I feel like with him
but I
and
also
Carroll,
feel like when he was with the Eagles, Shady might have had one of his biggest years.
yeah,
Just be talking on my ass.
I think that was right before he got there. Because
Okay.
I think he shipped Shady.
But like theoretically, it was so close.
Yeah. No, it's like right there. It's like right there.
He
It's like
was
right
there for Shady's good year. He was okay in San Fran with Carlos Hyde didn't have many good years, but I think he was there for maybe his best year, something like that.
Because Shady was big in 11 and 13, but I don't know when Chip was there.
Yeah,
think
Chip
it
was
was
there
13,
in 13.
right?
He got hired in 13. Ooh, but
Might
he
be
got
a
hired.
lock.
He got hired January 20th in 2013.
Yeah.
End of 13.
No, that's the beginning. January.
Oh, dub, no, bars,
first
bars,
month of the
bars,
year
bars,
for
bars,
sure.
bars.
Fuck.
No, it's bars, bars.
Literally, last time Chip Kelly had an alpha running back, he led the league.
Literally, yeah, no, that's actually so
what
fast.
more do you
I mean, what else he
want?
needs? All right, heading to the next one, Jameis Stein. Let's go to your last one, Drake London plus 1,000 for 1,500 regular season receiving yards.
Did you know in Week 18 last year, he was the greatest wide receiver of all time?
Okay.
I've heard that.
Him and
stat.
Miles Sanders
His
were cooking.
3-game sample size with Penix is like awesome to go off of. I mean, his target share was like leading the league, or his targets itself was leading the league. His yards was leading the league. I'm not clinging on that too much. It's just we saw last year Drake London going from Desmond Ridder to a torn Achilles Kirk Cousins was enough to make him like an alpha 1,200-yard receiver. And Kirk was maybe top 25 last year, like 20 through 25 range, maybe. If you just think Penix is maybe a top half guy with the Darnell Mooney injury, I really think the upside is there with him. Again, I'm not clean on to the final 3 weeks, but it was like nice to see, even if Penix isn't like a baller, like if he could just gunsling, London's got the talent, and this could be possibly the best quarterback he's played with in his short career so far.
Yeah, London, Deontay Johnson, 3-game sample size.
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
mean,
like they're.
You don't want to meet
extract
that
that
team
out.
in the playoffs, in the fantasy playoffs.
You do not want to meet that 3-game sample size.
I also just think he's a good enough receiver.
Yeah.
1,500, everybody be getting 1,500 nowadays. Everybody.
Okay, all right, okay. Stain, you're 1-game sample size.
Yeah.
You pace that out.
I'm on
You're
pace. I'm on
1,500.
pace.
Nick, how do you feel about your Falcons love over there?
Yeah, I think
Plus, they don't have a first-round pick. They
They
gotta
have
do
to go
something.
in. Yeah, that's bars.
They have to.
They have to.
no, it's valid. Drakey baby's gonna have a massive year for sure. I think like even if Penix doesn't have like a massive breakout year, I think the situation is just good. Like we're a high-paced offense. We're gonna let Penix throw the ball all over the place, and London's gonna have a huge fucking target share there. We're like kind of fragile behind London.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mooney's shoulders are already fucking destroyed. We don't have a real wide receiver 3. Like I don't know what we're doing.
Is it
there.
still Ray?
Offense gonna fall apart. First round pick going to be valuable.
It's literally
for the
just
Rams.
like imagine just think of the Giants last
Top
year.
10 pick next year.
Yeah, that's stop. Think of the Giants last year if Malik had like Michael Penix throwing the ball. That's what D London's about to be.
All right, well, where are you going with your next pick? Right back to D London.
No, I'm gonna take
Lead the league in touchdowns.
I'm gonna go with James Conner here to lead the league in rushing touchdowns. He's 40-1. And I would say the biggest thing, similar to what you brought up with like Jordan Love, James Conner had 15 rushing touchdowns his first year in Arizona under Kyler. So like this is not a guy who scores 6 touchdowns a year and can't get there. He's typically, around the 10 mark, maybe off by a touchdown or 2. But we've seen the ceiling of him getting there, and he's been the clear goal line back since he stepped foot in Arizona. He's been the clear bell cow since he stepped foot in Arizona. They extended him last year. Like, you don't do that to an older dude unless you plan on him being a huge part of the offense. The O-line took a huge step up last year. I think they're going to be like a really, really solid unit. I think right now they're projected as the 12th highest scoring offense in the NFL. I have questions about the passing game a little bit, but that offensive system for running is fantastic. And I don't know, like I don't really buy any of the Trey Benson hype. I don't think we saw anything last year that would make me nervous about Connor's workload. But even if he does take some early down work, like they're not putting Benson over Connor on the goal line there. So it's a little bit of a bet on Arizona getting to the goal line enough to give James Conner the ball. And obviously you're competing a little bit with Kyler Murray there. But like I said, James Conner's had 15 touchdowns in Arizona before. And I just think if you look at everything objectively, he's just in a great spot to score a bunch of touchdowns. And we've had years where, like, obviously there are going to be years where guys score 16, 17, 18 rushing touchdowns, but there are years where 13 gets it done to be the leading rushing touchdown guy in the NFL. It's not often, but it happens. So
yeah, and you worried about Father Time? 30 years old?
Not once have I ever
Quick
been
Has
there.
there ever been a 30-year-old running back to lead the league?
Derek? Oh, he's 29.
He might have been 30.
He might have been
Yeah,
dirty.
he might have been 30 last year. All right, my last one is going to be on the defense side of the ball. Will Anderson, Defensive Player of the Year for plus 1,200. I've been on this since the beginning of the summer, and I'm going to stay on this train. I think Will Anderson and this Houston Texans defense is going to be in contention for the #1 defense in the entire league. And if he has a good sack total, dominating that D-line with a good secondary, I think he alone is going to see 2 to 3 covered sacks this year. Like, their defense is built elite top to bottom. So I think him getting the DPOY at plus 1,200 feels like really good value there, as he's a spicy pick. He's a guy that everybody looks to on that defense as well. I think having help on the other side could maybe help him even more. So I think him getting the DPOY feels like a no-brainer for me if this team performs up to their expectation, making the playoffs. They're in a weak division as well. Plus, you look at the quarterbacks they're going against. Rookie Cam Ward holds onto the ball a lot. You have Daniel Jones and the GOAT Trevor Lawrence, but outside of him, looks like baby food in there for a lot of games. So that's kind of my thought process there as well, is pick a weak division, good defensive player on a good team.
And the thing with DN's, like, it's just all sacks. Like,
Yeah,
if you have a pretty box score, if he could somehow hit 15 sacks, he's on the cool, popular team. He's a cool, popular player. Like, they'll give it to him.
Next.
Just take it. Just take it, Will.
I think I have that in a slip, to be honest.
Do you?
I thought about taking him in sack leader because I think that's a plus
Yeah.
1,000 as well. But I don't know. This feels a little bit better, a little bit sharper because, like, a popularity vote. Again, he's like the cool, popular player. Sack leader, like, then he's like still got to actually outplay everybody.
Yeah, no, 100%. He
He can win the narrative votes.
100%.